Thank you for tuning in to Macroview Television. And this is the Taiwan Outlook, and I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. There are many success stories among the overseas Taiwanese, especially among young Taiwanese women. And on today's program, we have two independent-spirited young Taiwanese women who have spent most of their lives in overseas in a third country and now have returned to Taiwan and started careers. We're going to ask them to share with us their experiences. And let me introduce you. First, on my immediate left is Katherine Liu. Kathy, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And Freda Lum.
Okay. Hi.
Okay. Well, Freda, I'm going to start off with you since you're a little, shy at the beginning, but you were born in Malaysia.
Yeah,
and you grew up part of your life in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And also now you're in Canada.
Yeah.
In Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe and characterize your growing up experience, going to school and working in a foreign country that's so far and distant away from Taiwan?
Well, to me, it's like totally different. Between growing up in Taiwan when I was very young age, and then I moved to Vancouver when I was in grade 7.
Grade 7. So you were about 10? No, 12.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and because when I was in Taiwan, I was in Banqiao Guoxiao, and then the teacher there, they're very strict. And
yes,
then
of course.
They set up all the rules for you, and then they also they'll say, oh, you can do this or you can do this. And then when I moved to Vancouver by myself.
By yourself?
Well,
first?
I was alone. I stayed there alone for a couple months.
Okay.
And then to
before
try
your family
yeah,
came
yeah.
out. Okay.
They just want me to try if I can live by myself. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the teacher there, they provide lots of space, and they support all the students with different aspects, and all the they are very supportive in different ways.
Okay.
So for example, I skip school a lot because I love to do other things other than school works.
Okay.
And then
did that get you in trouble?
Well, no, because they really support me because they know I love to draw and I love to play with 3D models, and then they allow me to work on my 3D models during class time, and also listen to their lectures. So that's totally different to what I thought when I was in Taiwan.
Okay,
yeah.
so that was a very dramatic departure
Yeah.
from what you were used to. But how about making friends? Was it difficult?
Well, kind of at the very beginning because I don't really talk, and then I always play with myself. I don't really interact with people.
You're not very socially active at the time.
You mean me or?
No, you. I mean
no.
at the time. No, okay.
No. But people are really nice in Vancouver, and then they came and talked to me, and then the teacher introduced me to others, and then other people, they'll try to interact with me.
Okay.
And then we make friends, and yeah.
Okay.
And
right.
we start from there.
Okay. Well, let me ask you then. Now your English is beautiful, but when you first started at grade 7, I don't suppose your English is nearly as good as you speak today. How did you overcome that?
Well, I don't know. You read books.
Did you have to read a lot on your own? I mean, did you have other tutors helping you in terms of adapting to a new environment?
Well, I joined some sports team, like basketball team or volleyballs, and then through that process, you'll know people, and then you get a chance to talk to people, and then you learn your English. Yeah. Okay. That's how I learn, I think.
Okay, and also, of course, interaction with your friends and classmates.
Yeah.
And also television always help, and music and popular culture.
I think music helps a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I love music, and well, definitely you have to read. Okay. You have to read a lot of novels.
Of course.
Yeah, so,
okay. Yeah. And Kathy, same question to you. You grew up, most of your life in South Africa. And I suppose, one thing that's different from Freda's experience is that you were there mostly with your family.
Yeah.
Your parents and grandparents were also there too.
Yeah.
So can you share with us how was it, like growing up in South Africa, at one time at least, that race, or ethnic background was such a very conscious factor, not only in terms of your school, but also in the society at large. Was it difficult for you to adjust?
Okay. Well, my parents moved over there before I was born.
Yeah.
And my mom just came back to Taiwan to have me. And then after she had me, we went back.
Okay.
So essentially, my whole life I've spent in South Africa.
Good.
The first 11 years, we were actually in the small country called Swaziland, which is a really rural country. It's like a really small country enveloped by South Africa. And there is a Taiwanese agricultural mission there.
Exactly.
And a handicraft mission, which is sent by the government to help improve the status there in Swaziland. So I had a couple of friends that were Taiwanese.
Yes.
I wasn't really aware of this racial thing until a bit later, when I started high school, because the school system is different there. We only have like a primary school and a high school, and then university. So when I started high school, my parents moved to South Africa, and that's when I started to be aware that there is this clash thing where it's like you're Chinese, you're
Caucasian,
black, and you're white.
Yes.
And that's when I started to be aware about this whole thing. But previously in Swaziland, it wasn't really like...
It wasn't a factor.
It wasn't really. I think I had a really good childhood. There wasn't really TV or anything like that, so we played outside in the trees, and I think that was a really nice childhood to grow up that way.
Yes. But when you moved to South Africa, then you became conscientious about the race issue, especially... at the, maybe before you moved. When did you move to South Africa?
In 1991.
Oh, okay. That was just about the time.
Just before apartheid was thrown out. And then in 1994, Mandela came into
power.
Yeah. Yes. And in 1991, the school I attended was all Caucasian. A couple of like Chinese, but we call them local Chinese, people who have been born maybe second or third generation Chinese. Yes. And there was one black child, which was the first black child to be allowed into that school. So for me, it was like, it was also becoming aware that there was this black and white, like a differentiation.
There was a race issue. Yes.
Because in Swaziland, they're all African. They're all Swazis, So for me, it was, they went to school with me, and then suddenly there's only one in the whole school. And then after that, it became very much aware. When I went to high school, I went to boarding school, and then we started to live with, I started to live with like people of all
different races. Yes, but at the time you were only a teenager. And then how difficult was it for you to accept that race is a fact of life in my school, in the society at large?
Well, right in the beginning, I didn't like to be Asian actually, because I was like picked on a lot of time because of the food I eat. For breakfast I used to have like rice. Who has rice for breakfast? And sometimes my parents would like be over conservative, in really hot weather. They'd put long socks on me, and I used to get laughed at a lot for that. And in the beginning, I just wanted to be white. And then I think the environment I was in was also very good, because I was in a very good school, and they sort of. It was a Christian school, but they allowed anyone to go, as long as you passed like a couple of like interviews in the beginning. And because it was such a close school, they sort of developed you to like accept who you are and sort of grow into that. And then after a while, the Asian thing came into fashion. And then I was cool.
So it
was okay.
It wasn't so difficult.
It was okay.
Okay. How about you, Freda? I mean, race is not an issue in Canada, of course, but but of course there's probably a larger, Taiwanese and Chinese, population, in Vancouver than in South Africa.
Yeah.
Was it difficult in terms of balancing the two cultures?
Not really. That's how I learned Mandarin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were born in Malaysia. Was your family originally came from Malaysia?
Yeah, like my dad's side.
Okay.
They're all Malaysians.
Okay.
So,
Do you speak Malaysian?
Cantonese.
Oh, Cantonese.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So-
And so all these different multicultural in your background, was it difficult for you when you're growing up to identify which culture that you're most comfortable with?
Well, to me, I thought it was like very usual to everyone, like
Okay.
my own experience. But
Okay.
after I grew up and then after I visit Taiwan, I thought, oh, my like what I've been through, all the experience was like very unique and very unusual.
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
to most of the people. So,
Okay.
well, so from what I've learned, like through all the countries I've grew
been-
up,
yes.
I've been live,
Yeah,
and I think that's a big help to me, like for my career,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Good. We'll talk about careers in our next segment. And Kathy, before we close on this portion of the program, when did you first come to identifying which culture that you're most comfortable with? Or have you made that decision, or you're comfortable with all of them?
I think I was quite lucky because in South Africa it's quite cosmopolitan. There's so many different races there. So I kind of got to know, like, there were so many Indians, there's so many Africans, there's Jewish people there, there's Greek people
Europeans,
there.
yes.
And all of them have made South Africa their home.
Okay.
And I never really identified myself as you're Taiwanese or you're South African. I feel very dedicated to both. I still say I'm South African and still feel I'm Taiwanese.
Okay.
But I think I realized I was more Taiwanese in some of the ways in the culture that I was brought up
Of course.
with my parents when I actually came back to Taiwan, and I realized I actually can merge so well over here.
Yeah, that's a very courageous decision. We'll talk about that after we take a short break on Taiwan Outlook. We'll be back with Kathy Liu and Freda Lum in about 2 minutes. I'll see you.